obviously this has been a really challenging time. First and foremost, I want you all to know that I really miss you. I really miss our whole campus community. I miss us being together, and I miss us being able to, take part in our courses together, to take part in great campus life together, and just to be the community that we are. At the same time, I am incredibly impressed with how everyone has really risen to this unprecedented occasion and moment. It's truly an extraordinary thing that we are going through collectively as a planet, and I'm really, really proud of the work that you are all doing to try to help us get through this. So thank you for that. I am going to move on to our first slides and just jump in. Again, what I'm doing here today is to try and share with you a little bit of information about the status of things on the campus, a little bit of a sense of where we're headed. I'll share with you things we know and things that we don't, and just try and be as straight with you as I can about what's going on, and then try and leave plenty of time to answer your questions. Thanks. So let's see. Oops, did I lose the sharing? Hang on. Oh, darn it. Nope, it's there. On mine, it doesn't look like it's there. Let's try that again. Okay, there. So I just want you to know that as we go into this, to me, we have some things that we hold very close to us in this moment. And I just wrote them down so that you could see them and have a list of them. So first and foremost, this is about keeping our community safe and healthy. And a lot of the actions that we had to take early on, even some of those that felt like we took them too early, like having to tell D-term IQP students that they couldn't travel, were really about keeping our community safe and healthy. You, our students, are our real North Star here. How do we serve you best, even in this very most unprecedented of circumstances? This is about serving our faculty and supporting them as they work to support all of you in delivering on our educational and research missions for both grad and undergrad students. It's, to me, that we're doing a lot of work about how do we keep our WPI family together in these difficult times, and what kinds of financial impacts are there going to be, and are we going to make sure that we're treating everybody well and trying to keep everybody supported. We've made commitments to all of our employees that we're extending, and trying to do everything we can at this time when you're hearing about lots of places letting people go. That's not what we're doing. We're treating everybody, doing our very best to treat each other with care and respect. It's a time of a lot of frustration. And so I know that perhaps we're not always as patient with each other as we might be in these moments, but my goal is for us to treat each other with as much care and respect as we possibly can, given the challenges that we're facing. And then it's not just about WPI. In this moment, the broader community needs us, and I'll show you some examples of things that we're doing in the broader community. So moving forward, I just want to give a few shout outs to some of the great stories that I've been hearing from our student community about the wonderful things that are going on as you all work through this D term, or I heard we're calling it Q term for quarantine term. That's very clever, whoever came up with that. I kind of buy into that, I like that. So here's just a few things, a couple of different IQPs being worked on. One group that was supposed to be in Berlin that's working on diversity around citizen science and how we can make sure that citizen science is as inclusive as it can be. The middle one is about an IQP that was supposed to be taking place in Romania, in Bucharest. That's an ecotourism focused IQP, and there's the team. And then so many of you have sent me pictures from your houses. This one's from Virginia. This is Alex, who's turned his house into our Virginia branch campus. I love seeing those pictures from, I don't know if that's you or your parents doing that, but it really is very inspiring. So thank you for that. Your SGA and GSG are out working for you. Here's a picture from the first remote SGA Senate meeting. They are continuing to be the voice for you and doing good work even remotely. GSG is also continuing to meet and working remotely as well. Faculty and staff are all working remotely at this point. So on the left here, you see Professor Greg Fisher from robotics engineering, who's working on an open source ventilator design that he's giving away to anybody and they're trying to do it in ways that's very easy to make. This kind of innovation is exactly what you'd expect. And on the right, here's our very own Kate Beveridge, who's helping us on this very webinar, who's been an amazing IT support, all of our IT support, and they're supporting hundreds of faculty, 600 classes that have gone remote across the campus are all doing that remotely. So it's amazing, and everybody's working from their own version of an office. Here's mine, by the way. This is my office / craft room. I have moved Big Gompy in here and also WPI Seal, but behind me you'll see a bunch of yarn because I'm a knitter and a weaver, and so we're all working with what we can. Oops, other way. In addition, we are helping that broader community. In this case, we've scoured the research labs since most of all of our research is shut down at this point. We've scoured those labs for personal protective equipment. We've given away pallets and pallets of that to local hospitals and medical centers. We have a whole group of people who are sewing masks. We've sterilized and given away over 150 cloth masks, as well as several hundred N95 masks, thousands and thousands and thousands of gloves and gowns and surgical masks as well. So WPI is being a great community citizen here, and I think you'd be really proud of what we're doing. So I want to talk a little bit about the current status and where we're headed. And some of this is kind of factual and some of this is kind of from the heart. Again, I want to share information with you because I think information is power in this moment, and I want you to understand what's going on. But I also understand that it's not about facts at this point, that a lot of you are hurting, that a lot of you are, you know, this is a challenge that you didn't sign up for and that you are not that happy about having to go through, which I completely get. I think it's totally normal to feel upset, and especially for our graduating students who are supposed to be who will graduate in May. Having your last term disrupted, it's heartbreaking, and I completely get that. We'll come back and talk a little bit about my best advice to you in this moment at the end, but first I want to give you some updates from the campus. Most of these are things that you know already or have heard and seen in various emails, but just to reiterate them and give you a little bit of context behind them. So D-term or Q-term, take your pick, is underway. Amazingly, in the course of only 2 weeks, we moved 600 courses. Well, some of them were already online, but not that many online. We are taking your feedback, whether that's through surveys being sent out or the questions that you're sending in. We're listening to you and adjusting as needed. And again, today is part of taking that feedback as well. I want to give a really serious shout out to all of you and to our faculty as well, who are really rising to the occasion here. Many of our faculty had never taught online. Many of you had never taken a fully online course. And for all of us, this is a change in the way we work. It's a change in the way we do business, and it's really, really difficult. The undergraduates know that we have updated our course grading policy. I'm not going to go through the details of that here, but you did receive detailed outline of that. Graduate students I know have been asking about whether there'll be an update to grading policy for them, and the answer is stay tuned, it's coming. Our grading policies are under the purview of our faculty governance system, and they are working on this. They passed the undergrad course grading policy. They're working on a grading policy for graduate students. I haven't seen the details yet, but I think it should be out fairly soon. And also project grading. We're looking at updating our project grading policy. So right now the undergraduate course grading policy only applies to classes, but they're looking at a project grading policy as well. So all those things will be coming your way, so stay tuned. Our campus itself is in what we call a significantly remote operations state. So essentially what that means is you have to have a special status to be allowed on the campus, and what we're calling emergency responder status. So that's people like campus police and some of our facilities folks and a few senior team folks that have to occasionally come to campus, and the folks that are caring for the very few students that are still left in our residence halls. That's not very many, but so those folks are allowed on campus. But other than that, and no one's on campus. And I'm not working from campus. I'm working from home, as is everybody on the senior team. So on-campus housing, I know there's a lot of questions about that. We are making plans. We're making some progress on those for students to be able to move out your belongings once this crisis passes. This isn't the moment to have massive numbers of people come back to campus all at once. I know that Casey Wall from Residential Services is on the call today, and they have been working on those plans. You're going to see some very near-term communication about some first steps in those plans, so do stay tuned. That's going to be coming your way shortly. But again, our North Star here is your health and safety. I know it's frustrating not to be able to get your belongings if you're a residential student. We're doing everything we can to make that possible, as long as we can do that safely. So stay tuned. You will be hearing more about that very shortly. Refunds, we've done about $7 million of refunds over in the past couple of weeks. That's for room and board for D-term. Student life fees have come back, at least prorated student life fees, project fees for students who were doing, who were supposed to be off-campus projects in D-term. All those refunds have been credited to your accounts, so you should see them there. Commencement. This one's a heartbreaker, and you know, it's absolutely the thing we needed to do, is to delay the idea of having 8,000 or 9,000 people come together on the quad in just a few weeks' time. It's just unrealistic and unsafe, and we can't do it. But instead of making an alternative plan right away, what we're doing is consulting with students from the class of 2020, both grad and undergrad, to ask for their input on what they would like to see. That input is open for another week or so, maybe. So if you're in the class of 2020, go find that email, click on the link. We want your input. Early input is, look, we want an in-person ceremony. We want it as soon as possible. I get that. So we're looking at those options. And again, we'll be communicating with you as the future starts to become a little bit more clear. But here's my commitment to you, class of 2020. You will have the opportunity to attend an in-person commencement. We will have an in-person commencement for this class. It won't be in May. And it probably won't be early this summer. Who knows if later in the summer is possible? I don't even know that. It could be beyond that, but there will be a moment when we celebrate your commencement and you get to walk across the stage. I look forward to that day. That being said, let me just be clear. You will graduate in May. You will be a graduate of WPI as of the end of term when the grades come in. We will be sending diplomas. We will be updating transcripts, all of that. So you will graduate on time. You just will not have the ceremony that goes with it at that exact moment. We will, however, do that at some point in the future, I promise. We do have a few known cases among the campus community of COVID. We haven't heard about many recently. I'm not certain people are telling us anymore since everyone's working remotely, but none of the cases that we are aware of were from people who had been on campus at all in the 2 weeks prior, and they all are doing well with my understanding. So we're very fortunate that it hasn't hit our community extremely hard as yet, at least as much as we know. There is a form from the Health Services website that you can get to through the coronavirus website. If you are positive, if you have been tested and you want to let us know, you can absolutely do that. So we'd love to be able to check in on you. Not a requirement, but you certainly can. So I want to focus a little bit now on the things that are available to you, the resources that are available to you as students, because I want to be clear about two things. One is, on one hand, everything's different, right? The way you're approaching your courses is probably different. The way you're interacting with your team members and such is different. But two, the resources here are the same, and in fact, they're even expanded. So I want to focus on some of those resources and just make sure you know that every service that you could have gotten to support your student success on campus, you can now get remotely. So first are some things that are relatively new, which includes our coronavirus website. It's a great place to go for every question that you have. The first place I would go is to our coronavirus website. You can get to it from any WPI website, because they all have that yellow bar across the top that says, go to our coronavirus response website, and just click on that and it'll take you there. And there's a special section for students with frequently asked questions, with updates to the community. All of that is there for you in one place. And then the other piece that's new here is this virtual learning support website. The virtual@wpi.edu is a place where you can send questions about your academic experience. If you're confused about something, if you're concerned about something, you can send a note to virtual@wpi.edu and it'll get sent to the right people to get back to you and answer that. And in addition, there's a virtual learning support website that again has links to all the resources available to you. So please use those. Go there first. That should be your first stop when you have a question or a concern. We have launched campus-wide something we're calling an academic success coaching program. Especially many of the master's students should have already received a reach out from our academic success coaches, and we're expanding this to the undergraduates. Those are people who will be responding to questions or concerns that you send to virtual@wpi.edu. So they will, they'll be back in touch with you and will help make sure that you're making great progress on your studies. And then the last thing that's kind of new is this thing we're calling Be Well Together. This is brought to you by the School of Arts and Sciences at WPI. Every single day they have either a yoga or a meditation or some other kind of self-care class. And you can find those online as well and participate virtually. In fact, I think there's one going on right now. Unfortunately, maybe some of you are doing yoga while we're talking. I don't know. If so, good on you. So those are all resources that are available to you. And then this next page is really about all the resources that you're used to, whether that's academic advising or tutoring or the Career Center or the Counseling Center or Health Center or our Office of Disability Services. All of those folks are working remotely. They're all still working on your behalf. And I'll tell you, like the Tutoring Center tells me that they don't see as much uptake on tutoring as they usually do. So listen, they have capacity to help and support you. So please use those resources. They are here for you, and there's nothing that they want more than to make sure that you're successful in this moment. Even if you're not sure what question you have, even if you're not sure what kind of help you need, reach out to advising or the Career Center. If you're struggling with maybe your summer internship fell through because of this crazy economic downturn that's coming with this pandemic, reach out to CDC and have a conversation with them. They're still doing virtual career fairs, by the way, and you can still participate in those. So everybody's here for you, and please do take advantage of those resources because they're more important now than ever. Okay, so just to wrap up with a couple of slides here about where from here and how we take care of each other in these moments. What's next? Look, I wish I had more concrete answers to share with you. I'm being totally honest when I say there's a lot of uncertainty right now about exactly how long this will last, exactly how long we'll be working remotely from the campus, those of us that work on campus, exactly what's happening for the summer and the fall. It's not yet clear, but here's what I can tell you. We are working it really hard, looking at different scenarios, and we will keep you informed as soon as we know the direction that we're headed. We are looking at scenarios, for example, for reopening the campus and such, and we're working all those different ideas, and we'll keep you informed as things become clearer. My advice for you here is to focus on those things in front of you. Stay the course, get through this term. You can do it. And if you're struggling, again, I have some advice for you on the next slide that we'll come back to. For summer, I saw somebody asked a question about summer. We are planning to add more remote courses for summer, both E1 and E2. You'll see more details about this coming up. We do feel like it's prudent at this time to announce that we're not going to do in-person classes in the summer. We're going to do all remote, E1 and E2. We're going to have a slight delay in the start of E1, like a week, I think. We'll send you more details about that very, very shortly. Many people have already registered for summer courses, and we are looking at adding more summer courses, both undergrad and graduate summer courses. For undergrads, you know that we discount tuition in the summer. we're actually applying our highest discount that we previously gave in summer to all of our summer online courses for undergrads. So we want to encourage you to think about picking up a summer class. If that internship maybe got cut back or fell through, think about getting ahead a bit on your studies. So stay tuned, check back frequently, see when what new courses might be out there, and consider sticking with us for the summer. And then for fall, so registration's happening. It starts in a couple of days, and we're moving forward for fall. All those classes are there that you expect to see, and we're hopeful that we'll all be together in the fall, and that we want to get you all registered. So fall registration is going to take place as planned. You should all have gotten your assignment of what day that you register and such, and good luck with all of that. We'll keep that going as well. And then lastly, I just want to say a few words from the heart here. I totally acknowledge this has been a real loss for all of you. It is normal to feel, and I know many of you are, anxiety and grief, real loss about the moment that we're in. It's totally normal to miss the relationships that you have when you're here with us on the physical campus, even if you're still Zooming with friends and colleagues, even if you're still able to engage, it's not the same. And I can tell you, as someone who sits on Zoom meetings all day, every day, it's not the same. Also, for many of you who have moved home to your parents' house, suddenly that independence that you have at college is really different than when you're living at home. And I get that that's not the D term that we planned. And look, again, my heart goes out to the class of 2020, to the graduates. I know that not getting to be together at this really important moment in your college career, frankly, it sucks. And so it's totally normal to feel grief about that and upset about that, and that's okay. I think you have to acknowledge that grief can lead you to not feel as motivated about your classwork, about engaging even with friends and in social activities that you might be doing remotely, and that's okay. So my advice is about acknowledging the challenges that are there and the difficult feelings that you're experiencing. It's okay not to be okay all the time. It's okay. You can always reach out to the resources that are available through the Counseling Center. They are doing remote counseling. And by the way, I think it used to be that if you were out of state, like if you were away on IQP and things like that, they couldn't help and support you. That is not true now. Our Counseling Center can actually help you no matter where you are. They've got virtual counseling set up so they can be online with you and do a session with you. So please reach out to them if you need that help and support. Short of that, my advice is to give yourself a break. This is tough stuff, and try and be patient with yourself. And of course, try and be patient with others as well, whether that's teammates or classmates or faculty who may be learning to take their courses online, just like you are learning to take their courses online as well. This is an uncertain time, and so it's a good time to think about those things you can control. Sometimes control can take us down a bad path, but in this case, I think like having a workspace, having a schedule, trying to set up some structure for yourself in a world that's swirling, those kind of things can be really helpful. And that structure could be about classwork, that structure could be about social interaction. Try and think about how to set up some structure for yourself as something that you can be in charge of, and try and set up a workspace that is perhaps dedicated to your schoolwork. Those things will help. And most importantly, just please know that we are here for you. All of us at WPI, every single faculty and staff member is thinking about you and worrying about you every single day. We want you to know that you're not alone. You are part of this community, and even though we're not together, we are still a community. We will get through this together. So just to close my comments here, and I went back to the top, just show you this last beautiful slide. On one hand, it's a little bit sad, but I think the flowers give us hope that we are coming into the spring. These are from a few days ago on the campus. We're starting to see the beautiful blooms everywhere. And hopefully with this flowers will come a new day, a new spring. And we are WPI, and we will get through this together. I know we can.